Alrighty, welcome back to the Motion Podcast. Today you're here with Miles and it is a solo episode. Obviously by the episode name, you can already tell what it's going to be about, and I'm honestly not going to sit here and act like I have it all figured out. You know, I'm only 21 years old and I don't have life figured out, and that is the point of this episode is you probably don't either, because no one really does. It's everyone's first time on this planet and you're only here one time, so you've got to make the most of it. And that's why I decided to make this podcast episode, because it's been a thought of mine for a long time, thinking about, it's the only chance you have on this planet, don't waste it. And the last thing I'd want is for the people listening to this podcast to end up wasting their life doing something they don't love, or wasting their life living a life that they wish that they wish they lived more authentically to who they are. Because the worst thing you can do is get stuck in your ways, being too scared to do anything because of what other people might say or what you think of yourself. So that is what this podcast episode is going to be about. So I wanted to start it off with the feeling of being stuck. I'm sure everyone's had this feeling before of being like, I don't know what's next. I don't know what's happening. I don't know where I'm going to go or what's in store for my life. And if I'm to be honest, that's what I feel right now. And that's why I'm making this podcast. I feel like that right now. Although I have the clothing brand, the podcast, the YouTube, all this stuff, I feel like that because I've got to now get another job and I'm going to move out the house and I've got other responsibilities that I'm going to end up having to do. And it feels like a step back in life because this year I wanted to be fully running the businesses and not have any jobs. But now here I am having to get another job again, a second job, and move out. It feels like I'm going backwards. And sometimes in life you have to go backwards to go forward. And having it all figured out would make life boring, because that's what is fun about life. You don't know what's next, you don't know what's happening, and you don't know where your life is going to go. All you can control is how you show up. And that's how you get past the feeling of being stuck. There's going to be periods of time in your life where you're stuck and you don't know what to do. And you need to embrace them, and you need to know that they're going to come and that they're normal, that everyone feels them. But don't let them define you, and don't let them define how you act. You know what you want, so work towards what you really want. Most people, when they're stuck, they wait for the motivation to come. They wait for the drive to come. They wait for some sort of moment or some magical person to come down and tell them this is what's going to happen in your life and this is what you're going to have to do. And here's what you have to do to get past this roadblock or this mental block that you're in. And quite frankly, it's just a heap of shit. We both know this, we both know that being indecisive is the worst decision ever. I would rather you guys go out and try do something and fail, because if you fail off something, you're going to learn. If you don't do anything and you stay in the same spot, well then you're going to stay in the same spot. The best thing you can do is just try to do something. Try to figure out, why am I stuck? What can I do to get out this rut? How can I talk to myself to mentally tell myself it's okay? For me, I'm taking a step back. It's okay to take a step back, It's okay to go back into working again, because you're still young, you've still got time, and this stuff takes a long time. What you're trying to achieve is not something that everyone wants to achieve, and it's because of what you have to put in to get the reward. It's a lot, but I'm willing to do that. And that feeling of being stuck, it's a struggle, Sitting there thinking I feel like I've got more for my life. I feel like my life is worth more. I feel like I have more in the tank, or I feel like I'm worth so much more than what I'm doing right now. That's a hard pill to swallow. It's hard. It's not easy. It's hard to sit there and know that you're not where you want to be or where you think you should be. Some people result in comparing themselves to other people, and that can really make your situation feel even worse. And it can make you feel worse about yourself, and you feel worse about where you're at. Comparison is really what drives this whole factor of I'm not where I need to be, or I'm not where I should be at this time in my life, because you're looking at other people that may be ahead. But just because they're quote unquote ahead of you, it doesn't mean they're not feeling the same way. Because a year ago, when I was just working my job, I thought if I was running a business and I had businesses and I did this sort of stuff and I had a skill, I'd be happy. I've got that. But it's still with me. That feeling is still with me. And I think for anyone, that feeling is going to be there because it's the uncertainty. You don't know what's going to happen. And that's what causes that feeling of like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know where I'm going to go. I don't know what's in store for my life. I feel like I've got so much more in me. I feel like I have so much more drive, but I'm not achieving what I feel like I should achieve. And that takes me to the next point, where it is why people stay comfortable. And this is why, what I just explained. People will stay comfortable because it's easier to sit in the position than deal with the problem. Like I said before, indecision is the worst decision, but it's the easiest one to make no decision, to make no failure or any success. Because to take the route of success, there's going to be risk, there's going to be like chance of failure, and people don't want that. People like the comfortable feeling of just being like, okay, at least I know I'm going to wake up tomorrow and I'm going to go to work. At least I know that I'm going to get this much money in my bank account this week. At least I know that. So that's all that matters. At least I'm safe. They get comfortable in their routine. They get comfortable in their life, although they feel like they're worth more. They feel like they've got more in them and they have these ambitions and dreams, but deep down, they're staying comfortable in their position and they don't believe that they can do it. They don't believe that it's possible for them. They don't believe that they're someone that's capable of achieving anything other than what they have right now. So what they do is they settle for what they have right now. And it's a very common trait. It's how humans work. It's not an abnormal thing. Everyone, I believe, feels it, and I think it holds everyone back. You know, having doubt in yourself is a really, really big thing, and a lot of people struggle with it. A lot of people struggle with how to move past being doubtful in yourself, and it is hard because confidence is built through action and through doing stuff. So what you're scared of doing is actually what is going to make you more confident, and it's not easy, bro. You know, it's not easy to step out of your comfort zone and go do something you've been afraid of doing for the past 6 months to 2 years. Sometimes people stay in the same position for 4, 5, 6 years. Hell, their whole fucking life. Some people just come out of school and just stay in the same position, stay in the same job, never progress, never do anything, just work, pay bills, and go home. And to me, that's not your fullest potential. You know, in my opinion, I believe if you feel like you have more, if you feel like there is more to your life, there probably is. And your gut is telling you, like, we're meant for more than this. Like, we've got more in us than just this. Nobody really talks about how much fear controls our decisions and how detrimental letting doubt and fear control you can be for your life. People will stay in the same position their whole entire life because of this. And it's very easy to stay in your position because of this. But at the end of the day, like the title of this podcast, you have one life. Once you're gone, at the end of the day, once you're gone, after a few years, man, no one is going to talk about you anymore. Everyone's got all their shit going on in their life. Everyone has too much stuff going on. They're not going to talk about you or what you've done or what you could have been. So all these people talking shit about you, once you're gone, they'll move on to the next person. And the chances of the people you are that are in your life right now and then being in your life when you pass away or when you die is very, very, very little, especially the ones talking shit about you. Is very, very little. And honestly, that is another thing that holds people back so much, is other people, letting other people step in the way of your dreams. It is brutal to have people tell you you're not going to make it, you're not going to do this. But the number one thing you need to understand is people treat people how they treat themselves. So let me explain. Like, if someone is treating everyone like shit, it's probably because they treat themselves like shit. They don't feel like they're worthy, so they try to bring other people down to their level. And it's very common knowledge. People say it all the time, but it's true. You need to actually believe this. People that are talking shit on you, it is just a reflection on themselves and how they think of themselves. It's not even about you. It's actually them. It's a them problem. They don't actually care about you. They care about themselves. They care about making themselves feel better, but they don't know how to do it because they do nothing. They are nothing. So they have to find a way to validate themselves through something else. What's the easiest thing to do? Talk shit on someone else to make yourself feel better. Everyone does it. Some people do it more than others. And it's a reflection on your relationship with yourself. So people will only talk shit on you or talk down on you because they're threatened about what you're going to achieve or what you're going to do and how it's going to make them feel. It's always about them. It's not actually about you. That's what you need to understand. When people talk shit, when people say you're not good enough, you're never going to make it, you're never going to do this, it's because it's a them problem. It's how they're talking to themselves. They're pretty much saying it to themselves because they're like, I can't see this person do better than me because there is no way that this person can achieve these sorts of things and I can't do it myself. I have to find a way to sabotage this person so I can feel better about myself because I would never be able to do that. There's no way I'd be able to do that. And that's why bullies in high school and primary school, they exist. I used to take the piss out of people. It's because I didn't like who I was. I wanted to feel good about who I was. So making other people feel bad, it's easy and it's an easy way out to feel good about yourself. But it's a relationship with yourself. That's how you treat other people. People treat people based on how they treat themselves. So don't take offense to people talking shit about you and people saying that you're not going to be able to make stuff happen. People saying you're not going to be able to build the business or do the thing you want to do or travel the world or live the lifestyle you want to live, because it's going to hold you back if you do. And you just need to realize they're not the type of person you want to be anyway. You don't want to be like them. And them talking shit about you means they're threatened by you. So you're doing something right. If you're not getting talked shit about, you're doing something wrong. You're being like everyone else. You haven't made an impact. You haven't done anything that someone feels threatened by, so they're not going to talk shit about you. And another way we stay comfortable, I've mentioned before in this podcast, is failure. And this is a big thing for me. This is what I struggle the most with. I'm very afraid of going all in. Like actually going all in. I'm talking like betting everything on what I do. It may look from the outside like I go all in, like I have my YouTube, I have this studio, I have all this stuff, and I work really hard, and I do work hard. But I know deep down, I haven't truly gone all in. And it's because I'm afraid of what happens if I go all in and I still fail. That frightens me, and it frightens a lot of other people. But we need to learn together that we can't let feelings control our outcome, because feelings are just feelings. They're just a thought in your brain. They're just your brain trying to take the safe route and trying to stop all of the pressure and all of the growth, because growth requires pressure, and your brain is always going to naturally navigate towards the easier path. And the easier path is to stay comfortable and stay with what you know and who you know, and that is it. I've definitely had like a good experience with moving past the fear of failure and stuff like that, but I wouldn't truly say, me personally, I wouldn't truly say I am completely over the fear of failure. I still fear failure all the time. I fear failure in the clothing brand and what I'm doing. Sometimes I feel like, what am I doing? What if this doesn't work out? All the time, actually. I haven't gone all in because of that reason. And a lot of people may be listening to this and probably have the same thing. Maybe they haven't even started because of that reason. But there is nothing that failure is going to do other than teach you a lesson. Every time I failed in the brand, every time I failed with everything I do, all it's done is taught me what not to do. And it's the best way to learn. It's the only way to learn. It's how you learn in everything. When you're learning to ride a bike, you learn by getting on, falling off, getting on, falling off, getting on, and then you learn how to ride. That's how you ride. Or you get the trainer wheels out, learn how to ride properly, gets you going a little bit, and then you take them off, and most likely you're probably going to fall before you learn how to ride. You're never going to be perfect in it, and you have to be able to fail to learn how not to fail again. It's how everything works in life. Everything. You can't be good at something and not fail at it. The people that are really, really good at things, the people that are hyper successful, have failed so many times, it's not even funny, and that's why they're so good, and that's why they're so competent in what they do, is because they failed at everything so many times that they've learnt of every failure, and that's what's created them to become this leader in this like area of life. And you know, growing up being told in school and through other people, I guess this kind of like leans on to the whole what people say, and people telling you, parents and teachers and all this stuff, that you need to go to uni, you need to go get a trade and all these sort of things. Maybe it's not what you want to do, but it's okay if it's not what you want to do. But they're not going to tell you that because they want you to go to the safe route. And you've been drilled this since you were very young. So this is all you know, and this is all you have been told your whole life. So this is what you believe. You know, you are what you surround yourself with. So if you've been surrounded with that your whole life, it's what you're going to believe. It's what you're going to trust. And it's what you're going to think is the only way. But it's not the only way, because there are so many people online that have never went to uni, never went to college, never went to trades, or never even had a job. Mr. Beast is the biggest YouTuber ever. He's never even had a job, ever. Never went to college, barely participated in school. And that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do that. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm not saying that it's stupid. I'm just saying if it's not what you want to do, there are people that have been successful that haven't done it. And hyper successful. In my opinion, you can't become hyper successful being an electrician unless you own a business. But owning a business is taking a risk. And to grow the business, you have to invest, therefore taking a risk. If you want to go to uni, you can go to uni, but then you're going to be stuck on a fixed salary for the rest of your life. You can't earn more than what your hourly rate is worth and what everyone else is worth. So to become, I guess, quote unquote success in your industry and what you want to do, you have to become exceptional, and you have to be someone that is valued, and you have to be someone that is able to control their income and be able to control their value, not be controlled by a company or a name. So you could be exceptional at being a nurse, but if you're controlled by the people you work for, there's nothing you can do. There are always ways to get out of the safe route and get out of the comfortable zone, but it's what keeps everyone in the same spot, is being told and being drilled that since you were a young age, and believing that other success and that other life is just for other people. It's not for them. They're not cut out for it, but you are. The only reason that you haven't been there is because you haven't taken the steps that you need to get there. And the steps you need to get there requires you to get out of your comfort zone and get out of your day-to-day routine life and create new habits, because you are a makeup of the habits that you stack every single day. If you do nothing every single day, you will be nothing. If you chase your goals and chase your dreams and push yourself and push for growth, well, you're going to grow. You know, it's like building muscle in the gym. If you go in and half-ass it and do nothing, you're not going to build muscle. But if you stress your muscle, you go in and you push your muscle every single day, it's going to get bigger because it has to adapt. It's the same as life. It's the same as your brain. It's the same as that failure mechanism that you're scared of failure. The more you push the envelope, the less fear you're going to have of failure. And it's just about putting the reps in to get that life that you want. So yeah, that was a bit of a talk about being in the comfort zone and being in that comfortable area in life. So I wanted to move on to, how I've realized that life will just keep moving. Time will just keep ticking. It doesn't matter how you spend it. It doesn't matter if you want to get out of your comfort zone. It doesn't matter if you want to chase your dream life. It doesn't matter if you want to just work a job that you don't like. It's going to keep ticking. It's going to keep going. You're going to keep getting older. And the older you get, the closer you get to being at the end of your life. And the older you get, the more responsibilities you have, the more pressure that's on you, the more everything, the harder life gets. Life pretty much gets harder every single year outside of school. The pressure's bigger on you to move out. The pressure's bigger on you to be quote unquote successful. And you have expectations now. And that's where people get lost. A lot of people get lost, in my opinion, straight out of school, because in school, they've got no responsibilities. They've got nothing. And now they leave and they're left with this feeling of like, okay, now I need to do something. And if I don't do anything, then I'm going to be nothing. And that's correct. So they just jump into a random job and then that's what they do. But that is because of society's expectations on where you need to be at what age. You need to detach yourself from that. And I had to detach myself from that. I was working when I left school. I left school and worked at Domino's for like 2 months and then worked a full-time job at a tool stop because I didn't know what else to do and I just needed a full-time job with an income. That's all I needed. That's all I cared about. So I just worked at a tool shop. Didn't really like it, but I just did it because I was like, hey, it's a full-time job. It's paying me money and, you know, I'm on the right track. Then I realized after a while, this is not really what I want to do and I need to actually find something I want to do that's going to progress my life like everyone else. Okay, I'll go do a trade. So I just jumped into the first trade that came my way and whatever was in my way, and whatever opportunity presented itself to me, I jumped at it. So I became an apprentice for electrician in roofs doing air conditioning. Now, for the first 6 months of that, same thing. I was like, oh yeah, man, I'm on the right track in life. I'm doing the right things. I'm doing the right things. But soon did I come to the realization that I'm just doing the right things by other people. I'm not doing the right things by me. This isn't what I want. This is what other people want me to do. This is what society wants you to do. This is what is looked at as successful in the safe route in society. So I was just playing the game of like, I'm safe, I'm doing what everyone wants me to do. Everyone's telling me that I'm doing great and I must be doing great. But I didn't sit there to think about, how do you actually feel, How do you feel going to work every day? How do you feel waking up and having to do that job? I fucking hated it. That's how I felt. And it slowly started to come along. And I looked at the older guys in the job, and no offense to them, they're all good boys. I like them all. They're all good people, but they didn't really like their job. And I was like, well, that's not what I want for me. I don't want to not like my job. I want to enjoy my life, and I want to be able to work every single day towards building a life that I want and building the life that I dream of living. And I'm going to get to the end of my life and be like, I'm happy I lived that life. So I looked at them and they were like 30, 40, 50. Not 30 is still pretty young, but they were about 50 to 40, the ones I was looking at. And I'd talk to them, I'm like, so like, what have you done in your life, basically? And they're like, oh, I just worked in aircon. And I'm like, do you like it? And they're like, I fucking hate this shit, but it pays the bills. And I'm just like, it just pays the bills? Like, surely there's more to life than it just pays the bills. That's it. That's all it does. And I was really like, okay, I can't do this for the rest of my life. Like, there's no way this is what my life is just cut out to be, is just to work a job that I don't like and I fucking hate. And I would rather work in a tool shop than do this, but this is what everyone classifies as the correct route. So this is what I have to do. And it really started to take a toll on me. I really started to dig into stoicism and actual mindset work and understanding like how the world works, and how, podcasts like these where people are telling you like all these different mindsets that you haven't heard of, because all you've been around is really young people at school and then your tradesman that doesn't really do much other than drink on the weekend and come to work to pay the bills. So you don't know any better. And this is where it came to me of like, I was like, well, I don't want to take advice of someone like this, because I don't want to be like this person. I don't want to live a life like this person. I don't want to be 50, still going to the pub on the weekend and drinking at the Secret Harbour pub because I don't really have anything else to do, or going to the pub down the road from my house to go get pissed with my mates. Like, and honestly, if that's what people want to do, that's what they want to do, but it's not what I wanted to do. And I felt weird and I felt off, and I'm like, why don't I want to do this? Why does everyone else do this, but I don't want to do this? And it's because I started to realize it's because I was thinking of what I truly want, not what other people want me to do. Not trying to fit in, not trying to be a part of the crowd. I was really looking into myself and what I want and what I value as a person. And I began to put myself into situations that were uncomfortable. I was training really hard in the gym. I was being disciplined. I wasn't going out anymore. I stopped drinking. I stopped doing all these things. And I started to get more confident. I started to like who I was a little bit more. I began to see progress and see results. And I was like, okay, well, I like this, and no one else at my work goes to the gym, and no one else at my work eats healthy and eats clean. So I must be doing something right if I feel like this. And when I was doing that other life, I didn't really feel that good. So let's just keep following this. And I kept following it. Again, keep in mind at this time, I don't really have much idea on what I want to do. I was still working my job. And then it got to the point where I was like, after doing that for so long, and I went up to a gym in the city called Riderwear, and I saw all these successful people, and it was on a Saturday morning, and they were, obviously had nice cars and stuff like this, and they were young and they were happy and they were all talking and they looked very well put together and very, confident in themselves. And I'm like, this is what I want, man. Like, I don't want to be waking up on Saturday morning with a hangover. I want to be waking up on Saturday morning and getting after it, getting after the life that I love. And that's what I really saw there. So it flipped a switch on me a bit, and I left my job and I quit, because I'm like, I don't really care how safe this life is, or how safe my income will be being here, or how safe I'll be with how many jobs I can get. I care about my happiness and what I want to do. So I'm going to leave and I'm going to try to figure out my life for who I am. And it's a scary leap to do that. It's fucking terrifying. But again, you're here one time. You're only on this earth one time. Why waste it doing some shit you hate? If you're working 5 days a week and you have 2 days off, mate, that's like 70 to 80% of your life gone to a job that you hate because you just need to pay the bills, or you just want to pay the bills. And taking it back to where I was talking before, time just keeps ticking. Every day you get older. Every hour you get older. Every second of the day, you are getting closer and closer and closer to your birthday, which is going to make you older, which is going to lift your responsibilities, which is going to put more pressure on who you need to be from other people, if that is what scares you, you know? And to me, I was like, I would rather go through the absolute shit when I'm young, when I'm 21, when I'm 20, when I'm 19, than when I'm 30, when I'm 40, because I don't want to get to 30, I don't want to get to 40 and eventually have enough of what I'm doing and being like, okay, I need to turn my life around now. But right now, like if you're young and you're 18, you're 19, you're 20, even younger than 25, like bro, you have so much time. You don't have anything to worry about, any responsibility. Now is the time to do it. And the longer you leave it and the longer you wait, the older you get. And the more the time ticks and the closer you get to your next birthday. And the older you grow and the older everyone else grows around you. So you don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to know what the next step is. You shouldn't. And that's what makes life good. That's what makes life fun. That's what makes life life. That is life. We can't change it. And we shouldn't. Because it's the only time we're here. And accomplishing something or getting somewhere, it's always worth it because of the journey, not because of the accomplishment, not because of getting the money, getting the house, getting the job, getting all this stuff. It's because of the journey. So, you know, if you have no journey to your life and you play it safe and you play it easy, you've got no stories to tell. You've never went through anything. You've never experienced anything other than just waking up at 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. to go to your job and then doing that Monday to Friday. Then on the weekends, just doing whatever you want. To me, it's like, that's not a story, bro. You got no story to your life. Maybe when you're younger and you got pissed and stuff, you got some stuff, but you got no story. You've got no experience. You haven't really lived your life. You've just kind of jumped into a random job and you don't really like it and you've just settled for that. I don't want you to settle for that. I don't want anyone to settle for that because it's not what your life is meant to be. It's not meant to just be this one path that you need to follow because everyone else tells you to follow it. And if you want to work a 9 to 5, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, it's fine. But if you're truly happy, if you truly see a future in it as what you want to do, if that is what you want to do, then you're living your life well and you're doing good. It's not about building a business all the time. It's just about living a life that you love, that you can tell your kids about, and you can be happy that you've accomplished things in your life and that you've done things that you said that you never would have been able to do. And chasing these dreams and chasing these goals for me has taught me a lot about being humble and understanding that you can't rush greatness and that it takes time and it's not an easy task, but it's a task that people can achieve. But you have to be able to go through what you need to go through to achieve the goal and get out the other side. And that's what a lot of people can't do. A lot of people can't face the challenges. A lot of people can't face the fear of failure. A lot of people can't face these things. It all ties back to you only are here one time. So don't waste it just trying to get by paying the bills. Don't waste it trying to impress people. Don't waste it doing dumb shit. Because at the end of the day, you're going to die, and so am I. And so is everyone on this planet. Give it another 70 years and everyone that we know will probably all be gone and be dead. And there'll be a new generation and there will be new people thinking the same as you did, trying to follow the same route as everyone has been doing for the past 200-300 years. And it's just going to keep going and going and going and going on a hamster wheel. And it's just how it works. It's how the world works. Generation after generation, it's the same thing. But you need to realize that you're here one time. Like, just paint the picture in your head. You get to the end of your life and you wish you did more, but you can't do anything. You can't. That's it. It's done. It's gone. It's over. There is no redos. There is no retakes. You realize that life isn't as deep as you thought it was. Life is so much more relaxed than you thought it was, and you don't know why you put pressure on yourself for no reason. You don't know why you listen to fucking Rebecca or Johnny talk shit about you, because you don't even know what the fuck they're doing, but they talked shit about you in high school, and it changed the whole trajectory of your life, and you ended up following this path because of what a few people said about you or what a few people thought about you. Like, just imagine that, man. Imagine it. Like, to me, I'm like, this is why I want to make this, because I don't want people to feel that. I haven't felt it, but I can imagine what it would feel like. I can imagine it would feel like you've failed. Like, you'd be so annoyed at yourself for listening to other people and letting other people dictate your life that you just feel like, I just wasted it. I wasted it doing something I didn't like. And if you listen to people that interview people on their deathbed or like that are about to die, the main thing they all say is, I wish I took more risks. I wish I cared less. And I wish that I went after the life that I wanted. They always say the same thing every single time. And I think that the worst thing you can do is just get caught up in the whole scheme of, trying to impress other people and trying to be what everyone else wants you to be and not be who you want to be, because that wouldn't be a good life, man. That'd be shit. And I don't want you to have a shit life. So yeah, that is the end of this episode. I appreciate you for listening. I hope that this inspired someone. I hope it did something for someone. But yeah, one life, one chance. Don't waste it. And I'll see you in the next one.